What's going on? Happy Friday. Hopefully you are well, as a matter of fact. I want to make sure that you are good, you're enjoying the weekend and the start of the weekend, and you're here with us. So that's a great way to start the beginning of an early holiday weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is.
You know what I'm saying? Franchise J. Claxton and Miss Cassandra Vaughn. Loving business on lot. We having some fun, and it's funny because I feel like we always happen to have we have some friends in some high places.
No, we have dope friends.
We have friends in high places, and these friends are family. They're not just friends, they family. We can call on them whenever we need. So I want to introduce you to my friends, our friends and family. First and foremost, let me get it right. Dr. Mike Jones and Miss June Jones. How y'all feeling? I want to make sure I put the doctor in front of it, Mike.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
make sure I put the doctor in front of it.
Hey, all I know, hey, Brother Clax, here's what I need, man. Can I get that DJ intro? Your voice is on lock, man.
No, man, I got you.
I need that club DJ intro, dude.
Listen, you can take me. I can be your theme music, man. Your intro music, wherever you go. Before you go and talk, in front of the city of Richmond, I come first. I got you.
Oh, you tripping? I mean, I got you coming up. Yeah, indeed.
But look, before you hit the pulpit, I got you. I'm gonna look good too. I'm gonna be sharp, but smell good. I'm gonna have a cologne on. I'll make sure we good. I promise. I'll make sure we good.
What's going on, y'all? It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Man, thank you. June, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
I am absolutely wonderful. I had a great workout. I made it to the show on time. So I actually was looking forward to this because I have a lot to talk about. I have some things that I want to talk about.
You always have a lot to talk about.
So I'm going to start right here. I have this young lady to the left of me. I have a beautiful mother. I have a beautiful grandmother. My grandmother is the sharpest lady I know, sharp as a tack. I mean, she was wearing Gucci in the 80s. And then I have this beautiful 9-year-old little girl, right? And I'm trying to figure out why in our community, us as not me and you, Mike, but as Black men, why they use the B word so much when they describing our women. And I'm trying to figure out why we can't expect anybody else to respect our beautiful women if we are talking about them in a derogatory manner.
Right. Because I've got the same thing. I, raised by a Black mom, grandma, sister, wife, daughter. I don't know. That was something that I just do. Can I just be honest?
Please.
My sister would have whooped my butt back in the day. I ain't gonna lie. I got to keep it 100. She would have wore me out.
Even today, huh?
June said even today.
that was something my sister didn't allow me to say to anybody. Right. And so I think, brothers, we have to police each other. But I think, it still begins at home, moms and dads and, brothers and sisters. I don't allow my son to say it. My son, I heard some stuff. He was kind of loud on the phone. I'm like, bruh, who you talking to like that?
Right.
And I'm like, hey, I ain't trying to get in your business, but we don't cuss. We don't do, not that we can cuss everywhere, but, when you're arguing, don't cuss because it escalates and it does some other stuff. And so, any woman you got to yell at, dude, you need to leave and just to get something, to and through. But I ain't gonna lie, my sister would have wore me out. That is no cap, dude. She would have peeled me back.
Right. No, and it's funny because I know people that have daughters. So you have a daughter and then you using that word. I would want to really put my hands on somebody to call my daughter one or call any of the important women in my life out of their names. So when I hear it and it roll off the tongue, so it's so easy. I promise you, it irks the living daylights out of me. It bothers me so much, and it's so prevalent in our community. And I don't know. I feel like I may be by myself in it, but it just.
I don't think you're by yourself. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it goes both ways, because not only do you hear men referring to women, but you hear women referring to men, and that's disrespectful just as well.
Right.
So if you're going to hold one party accountable, you have to hold the other accountable as well. Like, I'm never going to refer to you in that manner. I'm never going to refer to anybody in that manner, because that's disrespectful.
Right.
But I think that it comes back around to what, Mike just said. It starts in a home. And then if they're not getting it in a home, then we have to have accountability partners as friends, and you have to watch who your friendship group is, because that's where it all begins. You get what I'm saying? It's where it begins, where it ends.
So it's I really was waiting to be able to have this conversation with you guys, because I heard it. I was around, some folks, and I heard it a lot. And I'm hearing it, and it's women around, and they not even talking about the women that's around, but they were just describing other women.
And then it's how that particular female makes you respect her. Let's take June, for instance. June works in the music industry. Right. She's around all types of individuals who may call somebody on the street that, but they dare not call her that. And it's all about how you present yourself and who you are.
Right. And June, I was going to ask you that as well. Like, how do you deal with that? Because I know a lot of the artists kind of like look up to you, because you make sure they're good. You make sure they're good and taken care of, and you make sure they get the radio and all of that stuff. Like, I know that there may be a lot to handle for you as well.
Right. Well, I mean, luckily I have a great, bunch of artists currently, and they all love and respect me, but you have to, earn that respect from them. I remember one time I was on the road, and this is when Meek first started, and I was on the road with his, him and his boys tried to holler at me, and I was like, I'm here to work. I'm not here to play.
Right.
So,
But I don't think that's something you should have to earn. I don't earn anyone's respect, and it should be a matter of it's something that I'm going to demand. One.
Well, for women, it's different.
Yeah, for women, it's different. For women in the industry, I really do have to agree with June. It's really different. And it's interesting because, June, I want you to speak on it, because I think that Jay will be able to take it in differently, because I tell him all the time, it's different for us than it is for him.
Right.
We go through a lot of challenges of basically proving who we are.
Right. Yeah, no, when I first started, I started on the road with Webby and Boosie.
Oh, wow.
Well, in their heyday. Jay, you remember, you go with me since the beginning. They were bad. Bad. But I'm the one, taking them from, DC all the way down to South Carolina, Atlanta in a van, 15 passenger. I'm driving.
Right, you driving. Right. Yeah, you on the road. Right.
I'm the one setting up everything for them. I'm the one feeding them. I'm the one who's telling them when to go to sleep, when to wake up. So,
but did they ever call you a B to your face?
Oh no, because they know I would stop the van in the middle of the highway and kick them out.
Right.
Wow.
So that gets back to my point, though, that it's still a part of a piece of what you will expect and what you will allow in your space.
Right.
And again, a white person, they can choose to call us the N-word. I'm out. Look, hey, I'm not going to deal with you.
Right.
It's just a non-negotiable. But, I think, and again, I think women are in a precarious position because it is your job and you have to somewhat cater to their egos and things of that nature. And so I can respect that, but yeah.
And speaking of that N-word, I know that, like, I have to do a better job as well, because I don't look at anybody that I'm talking to as one of them. And unfortunately, we use it as a term of endearment, but we really shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? We really shouldn't.
Like I don't say that.
Right. We really shouldn't.
I don't say it. It actually offends me. I remember one time we were in DC and Jay was DJing, and someone that he was working with at the time came in and used the word, and I'm sitting there like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
Like, who does that?
Right.
You know, it shouldn't be used at all. You know, and I think that it's a word that, like the B word, we just need to eliminate from our vocabulary.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I'll play this way.
Huh?
Our dog is whining at the door.
Okay.
He said our dog is whining.
Underneath our feet, crying the whole time, and now he's at the door trying to.
Oh. So, June, let me ask you this: how has it been? Because pre-COVID, so we're what? 9 months. COVID. 9 months.
When March.
Yeah. So we're 9 months.
June,
so
July,
pre-COVID, you were on the road. Yeah, it's been 9 months.
I had to use my fingers. I'm sorry.
You were on the road.
January, February, March, April, May.
I had to use my fingers.
How has it been? Like, how has the transformation of being on the road to everything being virtual been for you?
I mean, you know, I always worked out of my house, so
right.
You know, that wasn't a transition, but honestly, I love it. Not being on the road.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
This is my 15th year at a Warner Music Group Atlantic. So
It's been 15 years?
15 years, Jay.
I didn't realize that. I remember I used to work at a radio station in Richmond.
It hasn't been 15 years. It's only been 5. I've only known you 2. I'm only 20.
I didn't realize that, June.
Yeah, so it's honestly, like I love being home and not having to travel.
Right. See, I like being on the road.
Yeah, because you're a guy.
Yeah,
No, that's not fair. Not all guys like being on the road.
Right. That's because.
That's not fair.
So.
It's true though.
No. So let me say this. This is way before Cassandra or anything like that. I don't have the in my wheelhouse. I don't want to holler at no bunch of women or holler at women on the road. I don't want to, because I don't know what you're doing. No.
PG-13.
No, you didn't let me. You didn't
I got scared.
You didn't. No. I promise.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay,
Right.
Go ahead.
I don't know. It is June. You deal with artists all the time on the road. You go to these different cities, and you don't know that city. You aren't from that city. So why would I put myself in a position where I'm unguarded? I don't want any trouble. So you know what I mean? I don't want any trouble. I'm not this okay. I just like traveling. I like meeting people. I like being on the road, seeing other cities. I like showing love to other cities. I love that. I love that connection with people.
Okay.
Yeah. No, not because I'm a guy. Not because I'm a guy.
I think for females, you know, especially, you know, I have a daughter who's 10 and, you know, I'm taking care of my dad. So, you know, it's just nice to.
Right. No, I get it.
Yeah, and when you get things that anchor you down and you have something to come home to,
right.
A whole different feel. It's like, I really don't want to be out traveling around the country, around the world, because I'll get somewhere, you know, and you've done this, man. I mean, I'll fly to Manila or Africa, and after about a day or two, I'm ready to go home.
Right.
You know,
I get it.
and so my boys don't like me going sometime because we got a 10-day trip, and I'm like, dog, it's day 3. I'm jet lagged. I'm ready to go home.
Right. No, I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, man.
I get it.
I can't tell you, Jay, how much money I've spent on rebooking a flight. Because I'm like, dude, go home. I'm coming home. You know, I come home with that, Jay. I mean, you've got a dope career. You have dope experiences, and that's good. That's better than being out there. I hate it.
Right.
So that's positive. And so, you know, I don't. June and I haven't had an opportunity to do all the work travel or a lot of vacationing and stuff like that together. Just because, I mean, after we got married, you know, kids in school, kids in college, and then COVID.
And
right?
then COVID
Right,
hit, right?
right.
Because you guys are really newlyweds.
Right.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
are.
yeah, like technically you are. Like,
Yeah, hey, I'll drop the Cash App in a minute. We still taking bills. I'll drop that cash. No, but you know, and again, I think June said it. We're not 20.
Right.
You know, and if you 40, 50 and you don't know how to stay home, maybe you haven't cultivated home.
Right.
You know, if you don't have something that will,
mhm.
you know, I mean, you know, it's interesting that even birds, you know, animals will have this sense, this migratory pattern that no matter how far I go, man, we finna swim through cold water, fly through cold air because we're going back home. And
Right.
I think that's, you know, and I think that's up to both parties to make home something you want to come back to.
Right.
Because I ain't gonna lie, it's like, you know, June's at her dad's house. We're taking care of, you know, dad, my father-in-law, and then, you know, Jalen's at my house, our house on Whitehead, and she been gone for 30 days back and forth. Man, that thing look like a bachelor pad. Ain't no food in the house.
Right.
You know, oh, father, dude, I slip over here, and it's like, oh man, it's bright and food everywhere. Dude, I come over here to eat and shower and all that stuff, man. And so again, it's and it's not women's working off. Oh, she's made she has that gift to make it home and make it feel like something you want to come. Put me at the Jefferson, put me anywhere. Man, I'm coming to the crib, dude.
Right. No, I get it.
A part of that is that you make it easy for June to make it home. You know,
I don't know all about that. I challenge her sometimes.
But when we first started dating, like I would just, you know, I would come to his house and I would make it. He'd let me make it home.
Make it home.
Right.
He didn't challenge. He didn't say, "Oh no, don't put that there. Don't put." I was like, "I'm taking over."
No, the dog ashes is one thing though. Dog ashes is a bit of sore contention because we had. She's. I mean, it wasn't the family dog. It was just, you know, me and Jalen. It was our dog, right?
Right.
And so we did the ashes. So we had it's like a big box, and June was like, "That's not going up on the mantle." And we like
Of the new house.
I'm out here, dude. That's my dog, dude.
That's
Dog ashes.
a big thing of ashes.
Of dog ashes.
Well, that was his dog. He said that was his dog.
It doesn't go with the whole.
But all I'm saying is that's the only
So I
gripe
put it
that we
on
had.
a shelf, on a bookshelf.
Now you did. First, she put it at the bottom.
I don't blame.
On the floor, huh? On the floor.
You should be glad that's where she put it because I would have put it in the trash can.
So we've been fighting. That was my dog. That was my dog. But again, you see us just joking about and talking about the aspects of home and what we like.
Right.
What are some of the misconceptions that you guys have dealt with you being council person, pastor, and then you have your wife who's in a total opposite end of an industry, in the entertainment industry?
Right.
I think it's dope. That's fun, man, because I think my wife has the best job around.
Okay.
Because when I go into a place, and this is so funny, Jay, I went to the YMCA to talk about politics and city council, and I started talking about it. I'm like, damn, this stuff is boring.
Right.
I'm like, look, let me tell y'all about my wife. My wife know me, man. No, they don't. Man, so I'm pulling up phones. I'm like, yeah, I called June. Hey, talk to the phone. And they're like, because it's you know, June's got a dope job, man. And I know it's her job, and on the outside looking in, you know, you glamorize it and make it more than what it is, because the job is a job. Where we may see it as entertainment and cool and dope, it's like, man, that's my grind. But we just balance it all because I believe we offset each other, right? And so I really don't want a spouse who's like necessarily, she didn't need to be praise the Lord saints and hallelujah, but she also can't be, you know,
Cardi B in it.
Drunk, you know, walking up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just
okay, Megan Thee Stallion.
You know, And I'm not gonna lie, one of the things that I was concerned with, one, I didn't think I had a shot. I don't care. Every brother got an ego, and I don't care who they are. And so I'm seeing her in pictures with Trey Songz and Meek and all these other cats. I'm like, I know these. I'm like, man, I ain't got a shot. She actually had to ask me out and force the issue of us going on a date. But to answer your question, man, I kept it holy. I'm like, hey, hallelujah, praise the Lord.
I actually remember that. I actually remember that.
And so we balance each other out, because in the end, for what I do, everything is PR and marketing. Whether I'm marketing church, pastor, the gospel, whether I'm crafting a message, a narrative, or whatever, counsel, whether I'm trying to pass legislation, get my name out. And so she's helped from that side as well. And I just sit back and watch what she does and watch how she goes about doing it, because, I'm always learning, and I'm always trying to do things. And I've always been the type where not that I've felt challenged from, a partner or anything of that nature. It's just, I like to do stuff by myself, and it's like, I don't need your help. But, a rumor got leaked that I helped leak, right? Kind of. I'm gonna run for the House of Delegates in the General Assembly here in Virginia.
Oh, I was going to get to that, because a little birdie told me.
Yeah, little birdie. But the thing I told June today is like, look, I want you to be a part of the hiring process of my team. And because, again, not because I need to check it off or keep her in a particular, I need to include her. It's like, that's the dog, man. It's so cool. I love her. But June is good at what she does. And I'd be a fool to not let her just, just spit on the track, if you will. I'd be dumb, to not, and just so unwise to not allow her to dump that 15 years of PR
20.
and 20 plus
20 years
into what we do. And so if I win, she wins. If she wins, I win. And so
I love it.
I'm not threatened by that.
And definitely because June deals with the streets, basically, and you deal with the streets too. And you guys,
that ain't true. Every preacher don't deal with the streets.
Well, I'm not saying
all over the streets. No, and I mean in the way that you're going.
Right. I'm saying, like, you help people get to a place that they, that they're trying to get to, or they may need to get to. I'm pretty sure that's what you got into it for, and to touch them, there are some ways that you got to go in order to touch them. And what I'm saying with June, because she deals with artists that are out there in the streets, you can use, you guys can use that and coexist, because you guys are doing some of the same things, but touching different parts of it.
But she makes me better in that, because typically, and Cassandra knows this because of what her dad does and what she does. We typically wait for the streets to come to the church and get yourself halfway together, come on in. And one of the things that June has been like, man, that ain't gonna work. You better get on out there.
Right.
And she's brought that edge back. She's like, look, no, go out there, do this. And it's not that I'm not scared or I'm not, it's just, hey, I'm just in church. I'm on my vibe. I'm on my thing. And she's like, no, come on out there, do this thing right here. Right. And so she's helped me stay grounded to the people that we're supposed to be going after and assisting. And not that anything is wrong with them, right. Because I'm not going to lie. I mean, a lot of the things that are in the positive things of the hip hop culture, and that they're dude, they bring in a team, right? They trying to get their whole block on,
right?
And we miss that. We miss that in different parts of African American culture. Brother gets a corporate job. He ain't trying to hire everybody, right? Because there's not really room for the entire squad, right? Unless you're a LeBron James and you bring on, Rich Paul and do the whole clutch sports thing. And so, that's what I appreciate about the culture that she's in. It's like, all right, here's my people. We're pulling together. And I mean, she's made me focus on taking care of my team better.
Right.
We had a Christmas party present giveaway and had food there for the praise team and the people that have been working hard during this pandemic. She was like, hey, we got to take care of it because that's what she does.
Right.
I mean, it's always about, we got to get this bottle. We got to do this. I'm going to send this to this PD and send it,
Thank you for my Cardi B plaque. I appreciate that, June. Thanks.
Exactly. See? And so, her job has her in the people business of let me bless, let me see how I can help. And not that the church, not that we don't, because we really do some dope stuff at the village. Give away cars, we're paying mortgage. Here's the vision now, though. I want to start helping Black folk get houses. A car, that $3,000-$4,000 investment is going to be done after about 4 or 5 years. So if I can take that 3, 4, 5 and help them put together a down payment on a house, that's the next tip I want to get done in the next 3 or 5 years.
Well, I can move to Richmond too.
and you know what? We've been talking. That's the new form. Property is worth way more than money.
Mm-hmm.
They print money. They print money. That real estate and property is worth so much. And I'm glad that information is coming out there now where us in our community can know that this is obtainable, is reachable, and you can get your house and have some investment properties where you have some residual income coming in
as well,
on a regular basis, because we not in my field. I'm not going to be the hottest guy in the world forever. It's just
you won't be to me.
I appreciate that, but I'm just saying to the streets. Oh, you know what I mean? To the streets. To the streets.
But Jay, that's in everything, dude. I mean, as a DJ, as a pastor, the same thing. These young brothers coming up, and they on Instagram, they TikTok and all that stuff, and I'm still on Facebook. Like, hello, hello. And so I still have to reinvent myself. And it's like, all right, hey, and so believe it or not, June put together a plan to say, all right, we're gonna redo Mike Jones. All right, here's what we gotta do, and boom. And I'm not gonna lie, dude, it worked well. It worked well,
Well, I think a lot of times, like Mike can be in his shell. And I like to help him bring out who he really is.
Right. I got you. Hey, look, and Mike, you look like you might, if you had to, throw somebody around, you could, man. You look like you still could play linebacker for somebody's NFL football team, bro.
It was funny. We was out at the protest and all this stuff, and the vibe was cool, but everyone wants to hog the mic. And so this one brother, he's trying to take a mic, and I'm like, dude, man, I know you. You know me. You're going to see me after this week, after all this. So get your hand back off that mic. And my son, the picture caught, this cameraman caught a picture of me and my son looking at this dude. Right. And he was like, bro, it's about to get, I'm like, dang, you about to handle that dude. Right. And so, but yeah. It's all for show, man. I ain't, dude. I'll watch my old videos, but man, I ain't playing football.
Right. So let's talk about some of the things that you've been a part of, Mike, and June, as well as your wife. You've dealt with the protest in Richmond. You've done things with the Arthur Ashe Stadium or Foundation. I remember
Boulevard.
Yes. And you also with the statues, with the Confederate statues. So let's talk about that some, because I think that is so dope that we have a strong African-American man standing up for us in Richmond, and now beside him, his beautiful African-American wife.
Yeah. The hardest struggle was to raise awareness, right? Harriet Tubman said that I could have freed more slaves if I could have just convinced them that they were enslaved. And so there were so many black folk coming at me saying, dude, why are you going to have these statues? Leave them alone. They're not hurting anything. They're not doing anything. If you take them down, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, he put in the legislation years ago.
Yeah, this is like 2017.
Wow.
And they're working on the legislation.
Yeah, and so this is right after Charlottesville when Heather Heyer was killed, and the folk in Charlottesville actually got this stuff started. West Bellamy, Sally Hudson, folk out that way. And so when Heather Heyer was killed, I'm like, man, you know what? This is enough. These need to come down. And what people need to understand is that symbols mean something. You know, when people got that Jesus piece on, that means something. When, you know, some of our Latinx brothers, when they making that sign of the cross, that means something. And those monuments meant something to white supremacists. It does. It did. And so, you know, they came out the woodworks hotter than fish grease, and that's fine. I mean, that might be a part. Yeah, it's crazy.
Are you serious?
Yes. Asinine. It's like if it's heritage, why y'all so mad? You know, and so the reality is this: they needed to come down because of what they represented.
Right. And I remember this time last year, I was like, no more monument talk.
Yeah,
he wanted to put in another paper to take them down again, and he got so much resistance from even Black people in Richmond who say no, let them stay out.
And a lot of it's because of it's like, okay, hey, let's not deal with it. Let's just go on. But sometimes you can't go forward until you deal with some of the mess from your past.
He held his ground. He's like, no, I'm going to put in another paper again to take them down.
We're going to get this dealt with.
And
so
last year, this time around.
Well, no,
January last year.
Well, no, I mean, in January, 2019, it passed to give us the authority to take it down, because back in, you know, late 1800s, early 1910, 1920s, these things were going up. They wrote legislation back then to where you couldn't touch them.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't even have control as a local governing body to take them down. So we had to petition. We had to petition the General Assembly. And the General Assembly, I mean, it's still just a lot of gray-haired white folk that aren't really about the progressive measure and the progressive change that African Americans deserve. It's like this. And I told somebody, it's like, look, that's like a woman who's been raped. She's got to look at a picture of her rapist every single day. Right? And no, take that down, move, do whatever.
And they're huge. They're huge statues in Richmond. They're huge.
Yeah. And
I just remember like 20 years ago when I was living here as, like, you know, a college student. I mean, I used to live near the statues, and they used to frighten me.
Never went down there. I never did, because I understood what they meant.
Yeah.
And so, you know, once they came down, and it's really because of the protest. The protesters out there, they weren't happy.
It would have came down if he didn't write the legislation
and begin that process. And so, you know, we began that process, that conversation, and they took the fight off of Broad Street and took that thing down Monument Ave, and it was a wrap. Some of the dopest pictures from the protest were centered right in Richmond, Virginia. National Geographic had a picture of a local artist that did a wonderful job putting a mural of George Floyd up at night, and it was so dope. And that ended up being, you know, from National Geographic standpoint, you know, an iconic representation of what was going on across the country. And the thing we have to understand, the pandemic has quelled some of that passion. You know, Black folk, we ain't done, y'all. We're not done fighting. You know, and so we got to keep going. You know, for your folk down in Georgia, man, please go support Raphael Warnock.
Yeah.
Dude. So the fight is not done. We live in a district, a House district in the General Assembly that is 63% Black and brown, and has never had a Black or Latino, no elected leader of color in the General Assembly. Never. And I'm like, hold on. Something's wrong with that.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with that. And so I called her up and told her, I'm like, look, I'm going to run against you. Well, why? Why are you going to do that? Because I said, look, I believe representation should inform how you write legislation. Well, can you be more specific? I said, ma'am, that is very specific. The fact that you represent 63% of people of color, but your legislation does not match that, come on now. And I said, that's why I'm running against you. So, you know, her major legislation the last year outside, and, you know, in politics, people will co-sign on everything. They'll co-patron everything and act like they did it. She didn't carry any major legislation. Someone else did. You know, she got on the back of someone else's work and research. You know, her major piece is, and I'm not trying to clown, it's the truth, but tax on plastic bags. With everything that's going on for folk in your district, you know, and it's rough. You got Latinx folks, individuals who may not be documented, what their major issue is whether or not they're going to be deported or la migra, they're going to come. And so they're not willing to necessarily call the police in case they're robbed or something like that, because they don't know if that's going to trigger some type of immigration response. So we need to go to war for folk like that. We need to help folk like that. And so nothing like that's happening. It's not. And so that's why I'm running. And that's why I want people to support, because we need people like that that truly care about our communities to stand up, run, but we need to support them as they do.
Right. Nah, man, you know, for you being on the front line, we greatly appreciate that. We need that. We need to see more of that. We need to do more things like this, to have folks like you and your wife talking about this type of thing, because in this climate that we in, as far as the world and especially in this country, it is so it's so important. And like you said, just because of COVID, we can't let up off the gas, because I think part of it, some people might have let up off the gas because COVID, they're trying to shut everything back down, and we they're trying to lock us back down, but it's still important matters out here that need to be taken care of, and especially when we have so many folks, we have attention of people that we normally don't have their attention.
Now, let me throw this out to you, Jay. This, not to stereotype the people that follow you, but I mean, we know a lot of folk and got a lot of friends that smoke weed, right? And so the one, and I don't mean this jokingly, we need to follow marijuana legislation and the legalization of it, right? Because I know I got church members that got locked up over whether it's possession and just that are doing time because of marijuana and marijuana related offenses. Those folks need to be let out of jail. They need to be let out of prison, right? As they legalize it. And then here's the other thing: we can't legalize it and lock Black folk out.
Exactly.
Especially up in New York. Call up to New York and see what it takes to get a license to actually have a dispensary. It's you're talking about $250,000 just for.
That's the same in Maryland, though. It takes a lot for African Americans to be a part of the game, and you're absolutely, completely right about that. But Jay and I have had this conversation before. Part of it is that our culture needs to be more informed, not just on who you're voting for president, but you need to worry about your local elections as well, your counties and your cities, and because that's where things happen that you don't even realize are happening. Like, you're wondering, why is there so many speed bumps in this neighborhood but not in that neighborhood? Well, did you read exactly? There are addendums on it. Did you read it?
Right. No, but hold on, Cassie. Here's the thing, with speed tables, speed humps, they end up in the white neighborhoods.
Exactly.
And I went off, they wanted to raise, and this really pissed me off, I ain't gonna lie. They wanted to raise in a white neighborhood in the city of Richmond. They wanted to raise the fine for speeding. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. They speed in Black neighborhoods too, and we ain't doing that. And I'm like, no, raise the fine all over.
Right.
Don't do it in the white. And that's the stuff that's pulled that we don't know about because we're not engaged, and we're not, and like you said, we are not getting the information. And
exactly.
I don't care whether it's the dog catcher. I don't care, dude. I'm voting for all of them, and I need to know what's going on, because it's scary, some of the conversations folk are having.
Exactly.
And some of the things that are going, and they, I'll say this: representation matters.
I absolutely agree. And my thing is, instead of worrying about the newest, what is that, the PS5, PlayStation 5. How about you worry about what's going on in your neighborhoods?
No, I love you. I believe in doing both. I'm waiting for my PS5, so I rebuke that in Jesus' name. But I ain't gonna fake. No. I got a gift card for a PS5 that's supposed to come my way. I'm waiting, Lord. I'm waiting. But I'm still gonna advocate. I'm still gonna
for your PS5.
For your PS5.
But a lot of times, like I tell Mike all the time, like before I met him, like I didn't know who was who and what was what.
Right.
Like I knew the basic, right? I wasn't engaged because I had so much else going on.
But that's why you also said, Mike, don't assume that people know who you are. Because we get out here and we think, well, yeah, everyone know Pastor Mike Jones. Yeah, everyone know Councilman Jones. They'd be like, who? I'm like, Mike Jones. They'd be like, who?
Yeah. Right.
But I mean, and that's where again, she comes in with, hey, the PR side. Hey, here's what we got to do.
I come in as a regular, like, I was a single mom for a long time, so I have that,
She's like, that's whack. That don't make sense. And see, and Jay, you're of that same era, dude. That same area. That unless you adapt, sharks come out the womb swimming. Unless you wake up every morning on the hunt. Hey, how many DJs out there, right? There's just as many DJs as there are preachers, and everyone think they can preach, and everyone think they can spin records.
Man, COVID had. Every time I picked up my phone, somebody was going live. Somebody was going live. And the great thing was, I could really tell. You could really tell who could play and who couldn't play. This isn't a mixtape that you did in the studio. This is you with this camera, this phone right in front of you. Let's see what you got.
Right.
Let's see what you got. And to be honest, the whole putting cologne on and, putting pants and shoes and socks that match. When I went live every three days a week, I did the same exact thing. Right. I would go work out, I would go run, and then I got to get back in the house. I got to hop in the shower. I could not get on live without taking the shower. I had to shower, fresh, and nobody smelling me. Now, and to you, preacher, pastor, you can't fake it. Eventually, the rubber got to hit the road.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The rubber got to hit the road.
And Cassie would tell you this, preachers that can't actually say it, they struggling right now.
Oh, they struggling.
You ain't got no neighbor to touch. We all televangelists now. And Cassie, I told our praise team, I said, look, hey, we got to work on some things, because if a joke will turn off Kirk Franklin, they sure enough gonna turn you off.
And that's the truth. That's the truth.
So we thinking that they just gonna listen. Oh, Pastor, they gonna listen because they like it. I'm like,
if it ain't real,
I watch them live numbers, and sometimes them jokers dip right back down.
Right.
Oh, Pastor on. And so it's like, y'all, we got to change some stuff, and we have to look at some things, because that's the reality. That's where we are right now. And so this is easy. If I can get 100 folk in a room, we can sit here and we can slay it, but it's a lot different. Can we get 100 folk to watch this broadcast when there's 15 other million things going on around?
Exactly.
Right.
So, hey, live and Memorex, dude, are you real? Can you really, keep the attention of somebody? Can you? And again, I have to apologize, Jay. I was that guy. I thought I could DJ. I was in high school. The dude was on the turntable. I'm like, man, this is easy. Watch out. And I got up there, and I put some music on that I like, right? And they're like, I'm like, yeah. And I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, what did you say?
Dude, I was like, dude, I see you all do that. You got your I'm like, hey, let's go. And dude, everyone stop.
Yeah, it's not about you. It's about, you got to bring your feeling, your flavor, or your. That's what makes you special. But you got to know, you got to be able to read your crowd the same way you read these folks in front of you while you giving the message.
Yeah.
You gotta read it.
Right.
And that's why I think we can learn from each other, because art is art. Whether you're Picasso, Rembrandt, Michelangelo, art is art, right? And so, people trip off of me, when, I let them know that hip hop influences me. Dude, I did a funeral this week of a young brother, and he'd been in and out of life, and he's getting his life together. Positive brother, and I knew him since he was Cassie. He was that dude I pastored when he was a young teenager, right?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So he died in his mid-20s. Family asked me to come back and do the funeral, and so I'm looking out at the folk, and what I did, dude, I took a part from It's Quiet Uptown from Hamilton. Right. And they're talking about dealing with the unimaginable. And all I did was loop that in to the death of Lazarus and how Jesus dealt with that. And in the end, do you believe? Because the somber mood of that whole town, that whole song is like, you got to hold your child, all the time trying to deal with the unimaginable. And so I just looped that. I literally looped that the first stanza of that song throughout every point. And after every point, just went back and hit that and talked about getting through the unimaginable. And so, dude, art is art.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And I used to tell program director, like, yo, let me paint my picture. I don't need you running hit this. Let me paint my picture.
Yeah.
Let me finish the painting. I promise you, it'll be a beautiful painting. Be like, let me finish it. I got it. I don't want anybody to turn me off. I got it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it means more to me than them to listen to me that meant more to me. Like, I don't want you to turn me off. Like, I don't want you to turn me off.
The beauty about this conversation and talking with our friends is that I didn't even realize that we've been going for almost an hour.
Right.
And so before we wrap up, we play games with couples, towards the end of the show. Okay.
Don't play no games with me.
Oh, we play games. So I'm going to give you 2 statements, right? And I need you to answer them until you can't answer it any longer. Okay. For instance.
And then mine will be, usually it's TV show related, but it's going to be music related. Mine.
Okay. So for instance, my question is, I learned from you. So for me, it is, if it was Jay and I learned from you patience. I learned from you how to take everything lightly. I learned from you positivity, and I learned from you how to be calm.
I sound like a dope guy.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing. I'm talking trash.
You wouldn't be on the right of her.
Some days.
I'm talking trash. But go ahead. I'm sorry. So you have the floor. I apologize.
No.
What
did you learn from me?
I learned how to actually be a lot more. What's the word that I'm looking for? I'm
not on time.
But I was going to say no. You've got me to a point where try to be more organized.
Okay.
Try to really handle business. To really know that everybody around me is not for me. A lot of times it's funny because Cassandra gets, the fact that I changed because of Cassandra, right? Which is very true. But before any of the change, hey, you know what? Be careful. I seen Joe Blow. Just be careful. But what happened? Nothing happened. Just be careful. Just be careful. 3 months later, Joe Blow and did something that did not. If you my friend, you my family, didn't stand 10 toes down. She was right. And then I come back, you were right.
That's the spirit of discernment, baby.
You were right. And she like, yo, I don't want to be right. I wish I wasn't right, but that's what it is. And for me, I don't even push the envelope. I could go to you, I could call you, I could come see you and you know, push up to your chest and try to figure out why you're not a stand-up person. But why? Why am I giving you that energy? I just kind of. Okay.
So you learned to listen to my spirit of discernment.
No, I learned
that's
to.
what you were supposed to be
What I learned. I said all of that to say that I learned that I cannot trust everybody, regardless of how long I've known them or what I've actually done with them. You know, that everybody does not have my well-being at the forefront.
Got you. So shorter than Jay, Mike and Jay.
Yeah, because I forgot the question. I'm just playing. No, he was saying some really dope stuff, though.
I learned from. And I need you guys to look at each other. I learned from you.
All right, you can go first.
Oh, no, wait. No, you go first.
Ladies first. Ooh, ladies first. Ladies first. What?
Latifah and Moni Love.
I learned from you that details matter. That attending to the little things matter. I learned from you that it's okay to focus on yourself as far as family. You don't have to be at everyone's beck and call. It's okay to, you know, do those things. But I also learned from you as well and shared the fact that, you know, family's first, you know, and you exhibit that. So that's what I learned.
I feel like we're in a therapy session.
Because we've been. No, can't help. It was like we did this, Dr. Steve. Thank you for the breakthrough.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I gotta say.
Yes. Yes.
I learned from you. I learned from you how to express my kindness. I learned from you how to be more patient. And I've learned from you. You're looking at me like, I learned from you. I don't know. I do know, but
you can't articulate.
I can't articulate it.
That's the best learn of all, when you can't articulate it. Right. So my second question is, you make my heart.
She let you off the hook, June.
I did not. I did not. Don't do that.
Go ahead.
That's
go ahead.
That's my
Get it, Jay.
So the second question is, you make my heart. For instance, for me, it is you make my heart beat every day. Answer.
You make me work hard because
I said you make my heart, not work hard.
No, listen, you make me work hard at myself, taking care of family, taking care of you, taking care of the kids, taking care of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that I have to, you know, put myself in a position to make sure everybody, all my loved ones, you know what I mean, the people that are close to me are good. You put me in a position where I gotta be a better person, a better man, a better father.
Jesus Christ! All right, y'all ain't gotta answer that question. I mean, like, we gotta go. I'm joking. So it is you make my heart. Thank you. You make my heart. June, you first. Mike went first last time.
Yes.
Look him dead in the eye. He makes your heart. His eyes are that way.
Michael Jones, you make my heart skip a beat.
I knew she was gonna say that.
And you know, I don't like, you know, this is like in front of everybody, so you know.
You sound like you was great proposed to him again.
I know that's what it seemed like. It's like, okay, I'm gonna say yes.
Michael Jones. Michael Jones.
You know, I just
no, man.
I'll go. June Lee, you make my heart want to keep beating.
Okay.
No, that's deep. After
that's deep.
After a few surgeries,
you keep him alive.
Yeah. Hey, make me not want to give up.
Yeah.
So normally I would do TV shows, your top 5 TV shows of all
Let's do
time.
that. Let's do that.
You know, but I felt like since this is music, I felt like I wanted to do top 5, you know, artists, your top 5 artists of all time. Doesn't have to be hip hop, it doesn't have to be R&B, doesn't have to be gospel, doesn't just your top 5 artists of all time. And you can just, you know, you can go 5 to 1 or 1 to 5.
I promise you, I feel like I know Mike's number one.
No,
is
not
NWA.
You have to do one by yourself. You have to do yours, June, and Mike has to do his as well.
Top 5. Wait,
Yeah,
I do
you gotta go.
mine?
You gotta do your top 5.
Mariah, Luther, Biggie, Tupac, and one more.
Right, who's your 5th one?
Michael.
Who?
Michael Jackson.
Jackson.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody 6 man off the bench, or that's it? Top 5. That's it.
Huh?
Just 6 man off the bench.
She doesn't understand.
I'm a sports guy.
In other words, who's the rotation? You gotta pick another one.
Right.
Let me get a little.
Prince.
Okay.
Prince.
So if you ask me, I'm going to tell you Jay-Z. I'm going to tell you Sade. I'm going to tell you Run DMC. I can't lie. I think Drake is an amazing artist. I think Drake is an amazing artist. And I'm gonna say Rakim. And I'm gonna say KRS-One is my 6 man off the bench.
Interesting.
You know.
There's no way I'm following the DJ cast.
No, but
you have to.
But as well, I'm not gonna lie. I think that Nikki, when she really is on her 1-2, like I thought she really was dope lyrically. Now, granted, a lot of her stuff that she does, you know, she's doing stuff to, you know, to fit what's hot now. But lyrically, she was better than most guys. That's it. I'm just, you know, I gave you 7.
Michael Jones.
Here we go. And it's a part of that little riff right there. You know, shoot, Chuck D. You know,
right? Okay.
You know, Public Enemy. Dude, Chuck D and them. Dude, Public Enemy. Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
Marvin Gaye is probably my number one. Marvin Gaye was probably one of the most talented vocalists of all time. I mean, that brother, just his range and just how smooth, and then what he wrote and why he wrote.
Yeah.
That he would do a protest song and it would still sound like something you want to take your girl to bed with.
Right. No, I get you. I got you.
You know, the anthology was about that. So Marvin Gaye, Public Enemy. Honestly, and I'm not doing it because I'm a pastor, Kirk Franklin. Kirk Franklin changed the game of an entire genre.
Okay.
And people they've been trying to catch up to him ever since. Yeah. I mean, because he writes, he sings.
Yeah, he really did change the game. Honestly, I have to, and you still have 2 more to give us. But when it comes to Kirk Franklin, what I can say is that he brought a generation to Christ that was not looking to go to Christ.
Right. I'm just.
And he writes good music. He just does.
Right.
And so especially when he did it, and to get ostracized the way that he did. And so, I mean, hip hop artists should be able to really feel, I mean, especially when, you know, NWA and all the gangster rap and all that, you know, rappers were against other styles, like all that, and so, for me, that I think, when I go back and listen to Revolution, Revelation, and boom, and dude, and then you look at the number of people that he put on out of the family, David and Tamala Mann.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you look at that, right? He put folk on, Zacardi Cortez, Myron Butler, that came out and so these are folk in the hip hop or in the gospel realm that still influence, because I mean every black person done been to church just about, and every every R&B singer, I guarantee you they've been up in somebody's church. So for me, again, it would be Marvin Gaye, Public Enemy. It would be Kirk Franklin. That's 3. 4, 4 for me, dude. I'm not gonna lie, man. I love Outkast.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For them to be, you're talking about a yin and a yang. Not that Andre 3 Stacks ain't. He's not, dude. You don't want to run into Big Boy in out in the street, right? Because he looked like he's got their light. Right. Andre, I've seen him at the airport. It's like, dude, let me hold $1, right? But they just gelled and vibe in such a way that it's not the yin yang to and they all just, dude, they had complete. It was like you were getting 2 and 3 different songs out of one record.
And right now, dude still don't want to be on a song with Andre. Andre is bodying you. He on a song with you. He is bodying you. I never really say Jay-Z gets bodied, but Andre bodied Jay-Z in Jeezy on I Do. Bodied him. Bodied him.
And so that's 4. That's 4. Man, my 5, I'm still big on folk that change the game.
Okay.
And again, PE, they helped change the game. Marvin Gaye, he helped change the game. Kirk helped change the game. Outkast, I'm sorry, they put the South on. Right. They just flat out did. New school, I like and appreciate Drake. I like and appreciate off the bench. I mean, Eminem, I like Eminem and what he brings to the table. And, I think he's just can freestyle. I'm not gonna lie. I really like Mos Def and Black Thought.
Right. Wow. I ain't mad at that. Wow. I ain't mad at that. You like rappers.
Dude, I mean, Black Thought, he'll take a sip of water and he gonna go for 30 minutes.
Right. No.
Or one breath. Right. And again, we're talking about creativity. And this dude just goes off the dome, and I appreciate that. I know I gave you more than 5, but
I gave you 7, so it's okay.
Yeah. So
I can't complain about that.
And I probably bit off you on the Drake piece, but I mean, you can't deny what that brother, dude. I ain't nothing to be played with like a sprained ankle. Right. And dude, there's some truth to that. It's like, man, don't play with me. And I thought about that. I'm like, you know what? You can play on a whole lot of stuff, but you ain't gonna play on a sprained ankle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So wrist, shoulder, neck, hey, sprained ankle, hey, coach, bring me out.
Right. Can't put no weight on it. But look, this is what I want you guys to do. This is your shameless plug portion of the evening. What the both of you have going on. This is your opportunity to plug it, how they can follow and see what you guys have going on. This is your opportunity right now to plug and talk about it. Shameless plug portion, go.
Shameless, that means I got to hog the screen. No, just kidding. The Dr. Mike Jones, both on Instagram, Twitter. Man, if you know anyone in the Richmond area, put them on to me. I don't take for granted that everyone knows who I am. Let them know. Village of Faith, man, we about that life. We about changing lives, about really helping individuals. And that's it.
And you can catch us online every Sunday.
Every Sunday, we streaming every Sunday, every Wednesday. Village of Faith Ministries.
Okay.
Village of Faith.
And the Village of Faith Ministries, yeah, and just check us out, and it's easy to find. And the cool thing is, if you just hit the Village of Faith, Richmond, VA, boom, it's gonna pop up.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's gonna come up. Now, what about you? What you got going on?
I was going to say, June, what you got going on? What's coming out?
What album you got out now?
Right.
I mean, we have so much. We just released Jack Harlow, Corday. So
I like Jack Harlow.
Yes.
Yeah.
His
I
album.
like Jack Harlow.
So I mean, I'm not on here for.
Okay, I get it. Say less. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. No, listen. I know coming from the both of us, we like to thank you. It's Friday, and you took time out your schedule to talk to us and touch some of the people. This will be up on, immediately on YouTube, on
Spotify.
Anywhere you can watch a podcast. This will be up at Love Business on Lock. It will be. So we greatly appreciate you guys. And it's, we sitting there acting like we're almost interviewing you guys, but y'all family. So we don't take for granted, you being here for us. And we thank you. We appreciate it. And you can find me at J Claxton. You can find her at
Cassie Vaughn. And on Tuesday, December the 23rd, we have the Cheneys, Trey and Aisha.
You see,
Cheney.
she know the schedule better than me.
We watched The Wire.
Oh yeah, so Poop from The Wire. Shout out to the producer from the second season. That was me from The Wire. So yes, Tuesday we have Trey and Aisha. Yeah, Mike, we can talk about The Wire afterwards.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I've got a colleague of mine spent a lot of time up in Baltimore, and he made me watch The Wire from this perspective of politics.
Politics, yes.
Which you should. Because he's
like Mike,
and the whole time I'm like, this is Richmond.
Yeah.
The Wire politics, Baltimore politics is Richmond.
And not just politics of the people in office. But even he's like, Mike, there's some stuff you don't need to have your hands on. That's corner boy stuff. And I finally caught it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So I don't need to go at this person like this. And, just learning that patience of how to let stuff just come full circle. And he's like, Mike, you gotta let the cake bake sometime. I'm like, man, forget it. I'm only eating the top part of the cake anyway. So, so hey, shout out to Baltimore. Shout out to, the franchise known as The Wire. Shout out to the folk that's doing it real time, man. Be safe, get out the game, making life better than what it is.
Right. That's what it is. We appreciate you. And please be positive, stay safe, and make sure you really check your energy and keep your energy great. If somebody is in your circle, is not keeping you positive, please get them out your circle. You keeping your energy and your circle positive is super important. So now that we've said that, greatly appreciate you guys. Enjoy your weekend. We love y'all. Thank you so much.
Love y'all.
Thanks for having us.
Love the Lord. Love y'all.